They say revenge is a dish best served cold. Well, the Junior Springboks were as cold as ice as they annihilated Australia 73-17 in their opening match of the Under-20 World Championship in Calvisano, Italy. And in this episode, you are going to get a front row seat to how our boys tore the Aussies apart and avenged their Under-20 Rugby Championship defeat last month in Gqeberha, which on the N2 is still known as Port Elizabeth. I think many of us were nervous coming into this one after what we saw last month. There were more questions than answers. Early on, it was nice to see a strong scrum from our boys. Then, some loose passing meant we actually lost the ball, but the Aussies were turned over by us. Subsequently, special mentions here to Siposeto Mnebelele. I mean, what a run from a hooker who then offloads to Hashim Peed, who was never going to be caught, and we were in the lead. A bit chaotic for my liking, but excellent. My early impression was that we were looking good and efficient. Strong in the scrum, solid in the line-out, exciting in attack, but we hadn't really yet been tested in defence. And sure enough, as soon as our defence was tested, the Australians were over the line. Sid Harvey finishing a bit of an old school backline move, line out followed by moving the ball quickly down the line. Harvey couldn't convert his own try though, so we were still up 7-5 after 13 minutes. We had our second try of the match in the 24th minute, not quite the maul from a line out, but more a series of pick and goes resulting in the eventual try. Herman Libbe, the man of the moment this time. Now again, we looked mostly in control of this match to my eyes. I was satisfied with the way we were going about our business. But could that defense of ours hold up? Well, we were soon tested again, as this time the Aussies had a line out and a nice maul before going wide. Bo Morrison burst straight through the middle and looked like he was going all the way, worryingly for us, before Sia Ndlozi made a great try-saving tackle. Good. Much better from our boys. Now, okay, there are questions in terms of defense, but I tell you what, we attack beautifully. We won an attacking scrum before Pete broke away like Joost van der Westhuizen used to do before putting Sia Ndlozi away for our third try of the match in just 30 minutes. And there was still time for a bonus point try before the break. From more than 60 meters out, Guillermo Mentu made the initial line break. Again, it was Pete that put him through before sending Ndlozi in for his second try. Now, I thought that would be enough for the Junior Springboks, but our boys were in a ruthless mood. Cheswell Ewerster would score one more for us before that half-time whistle, and so we were 33-5 up at the break. My first half assessment was that we were on top and doing well. Not perfect, but I was very pleased. We were utterly dominant in attack against an Australia that looked like they didn't know what had hit them. Now the big question was, can we keep it up in the second 40? Did we even need to? Yes, because we all know what happened in GQ last month. We were leading 14-0 on that occasion against the Aussies, and we ended up losing. It was a devastating defeat. But this felt different. Very different. Surely we wouldn't throw away a 28-point lead in the second half. I think it was all over 5 minutes into that second period, and this time it was Ndlozi who went on a beautiful run before offloading to Peed, who happily finished. 40 points to 5, and it was game over. But I think what I wanted to see next was a maintenance of the levels of intensity. Remember, only the pool winner goes through to the semi-finals. So in the event we lose to England and beat Scotland, which I'm still thinking might be the case, points difference is going to be huge. Not obviously considering bonus points. So we need the bonus point win over Australia and the bonus point win over Scotland. And if we lose to England, hopefully it's with a bonus point at the same time. Nevertheless, a thumping win here over the Aussies would stand us in good stead in that regard. It wasn't long before Guillermo Mentu did exactly what I wanted. Now it's interesting because the Australians had actually broken through a first-time tackle, and my initial thought was, "Aish, this defence of ours." But it was quickly turned over and Mentu ran it in for an easy score. I do wonder if I'm being harsh on our defence. My gut says we were only really tested 3 times up until this point, and yes, they either scored or made a significant gain. But then we've also been so dominant going forward and in every area that you can't help but feel it's borderline ridiculous to find fault with a team that is leading 47-5 after 47 minutes. Now, is there anything more glorious than a prop running through for a try? Probably not. But you can get close, and this is extremely close. A beautiful offload to Batu Hlekani, who is a loose forward but looks like a lock. Hlekani goes on a powerful run before sending JJ Tron through. What a run, what strength, what beauty. 54-5. Jaco Grobbelaar, who hadn't been on the field very long, added another try for our Junior Springboks in the corner. But I also want to speak about Vusi Moyo quickly. He didn't start in the Under-20 Rugby Championship against Argentina, which I still presume is what Coach Kevin Foote thought was his best 15 or match day 23. But when Moyo did get a chance, he easily looked like our best fly half. And so unsurprisingly, he was involved from the start. Here, Moyo is a strong 10. Just look at his build. I mean, he almost looks like a loose forward. He leads the line well, kicks well, tactically and for goal, and I think he is one of a few in this side who could go on to have successful senior careers. Not saying he or any of the others here are going to be Springbok superstars in the future. I think it's far too early to make predictions of that nature. But at the very least, Moyo and a few of the others will go on to have good Currie Cup, URC, Premiership, Top 14 or League One careers, in my view. And I personally am going to be very disappointed if Pede and Hlekani don't end up becoming Springboks. Having said all of that, Moyo actually missed the conversion on Grobbelaar's try. No one is perfect. The next 5-pointer came from Holland Yali. This time we had ourselves a scrum, and remember, I likened Pede to Joost van der Westhuizen earlier. Well, Nyali did a Joost here. Pure magic as he burst his way through the Aussie defence, which by this point of the match had become virtually non-existent. Another thing that I would comment on here is how incredible it seems that a team that frankly exposed us badly just about 7 weeks ago could now have the tables turned on them so sensationally. I think it speaks to Coach Foote developing his group, the team growing in confidence in terms of their game plans, cohesion, teamwork, and set pieces. But it also exposes the ludicrous nature of the draw of these under-20 tournaments. I don't think it's right that teams only get 5 days between matches. Rugby is such a physically taxing sport that you need at least a week in between games. So in that Under-20 Rugby Championship, we saw Foote making wholesale changes after the Argentina win for that Australia match. And while it looked good up until half-time, we were all at sea in the second 40. Just a warning, Foote is likely going to have to make a lot of changes for our match against England as well. And I think the Poms are the favourites in this pool. So we're going to have to wait and see what happens there. But for now, I don't want to say too much about the English. I just want to enjoy this moment and revel in this outstanding Junior Springboks display. Okay, the Junior Wallabies would get themselves a consolation score late on with some slick passing and a lovely offload leading to a Cooper Waters try. 4 minutes later, Waters was over again. Now, as I said earlier, I don't want to be critical of a team that is leading 66-17 and I actually think our defence was decent overall. I mentioned earlier the line breaks they made that were few and far between, but at the same time, our defence did a superb job in closing them down and smothering the Australians. It's no wonder they struggled to crack our defences. 11 tries to 3 in the end for our boys in Calvisano. Yaku Williams with an intercept try right at the end, and I am happy. I'm going to have to give the Junior Springboks 9 out of 10 for this effort. My only real criticism would be the drop in intensity in the last 20 minutes. But given the final score of 73-17, I am being a hard taskmaster here. But what do you think? Do you agree this was a stunning turnaround by the Junior Springboks after what we saw in the Under-20 Rugby Championship against the Aussies? Or do you think it's best for us to temper expectations at this stage? Let me know in the comment section down below. And while you're down there, may I also encourage you to sign up on my Patreon page. I would love to do this full-time, guys, and go to Australia and cover the Rugby World Cup in 2027 for you from down under with daily coverage. If you sign up, you can get your name mentioned in my YouTube videos. You can get discounts on my soon-to-be-launched merchandise store. You can stand a chance to win the new Springbok jersey released this last week. You can also stand a chance to win the soon-to-be-released James Small biography. You might also be able to have quarterly Zoom calls with me where we discuss Springbok matches, players and tactics, and you might even be able to get me to write an ebook for you on your favorite player. It starts from as little as $5 per month. That's US, not Canadian. And if that sounds like something you want to be a part of, then head on over to my Patreon page and sign up right now. If you'd like more information on exactly how it works, I made a video explaining everything over here. And if you're not yet ready to support me in that manner, you can also just spear tackle the like button. You can also subscribe to my channel if you haven't already done so. And I also did a video a few weeks ago about hybrid rugby players, like what we saw the other day from the Springboks and Andre Esterhuizen. You can watch that one over here, and I'll speak to you next time.